Good morning and welcome to the SHAC. My name's Barbara Gray, here from Clarity in the UK. Been a bit of a scramble this morning, I've got to tell you, after a very busy day yesterday. So do bear with me. I've just realised that I haven't even turned the overhead camera on yet, but I will do in a moment. Come on in. Let's see if our friends are joining us today. I know that my dear friend Paul Church is in the room with you, taking care of you. If you have any questions, then do ask Paul. I'm sure he knows the answers to most of them. And other than that, how are you? It's a beautiful sunny day. Good morning, Carol. Yeah, nice to have your company. Sound is good, says Paul. Batteries are in. I've got a nice cup of tea. And other than that, shall I show you my notes? I can't even show you my notes because I haven't done the camera yet. Bear with me a second while I just turn this on. And then should be able to. Bear with me a minute before everybody gets here. Don't tell anyone. Okay. There you go. And we are in. Look, there were notes for today. That just about sums up Monday for me. Yes. We are here. We have a pulse. Just grabbed a handful of peanuts. Not very clever. But tea is good. Come on in. Great to have your company. And I think I need to slow down a little bit. I know that you know that I haven't been well, and I'm getting there again. But you know, this isn't the first time this has happened, and so you know we have to start listening to our bodies, don't we? And yesterday I went at it again. There's something in my DNA that says I either stop or I start. I can't go anywhere in between. I'm either going for it or I'm not going for it. And so I have to teach myself to pace myself a bit better. You know, physician, heal thyself. We say travel gently. And then I go out the starting blocks after being really ill, actually, as if there were nothing wrong. And I suppose, like yourselves, you have to listen to your body, don't you? You have to travel gently, as we say. So so I've done a little bit of soul searching, and we need to change a few things. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. And so I'm going to change a few things. You know, we have been, but for example, Thursday evenings, right? SHACers. This is for us. I did say yesterday that we've got these craft alongs that I want to schedule, right? All around the journal, the new blank journal and the new blank calendar, etc. And I want to use one Thursday a month to do that. And so that's more work because it's a lot of work. Craft alongs are a lot of work, especially rolling ones like that. I remember I used to do them on Create and Craft years ago on a Saturday. And it was a new thing, and it was really well received, and hundreds of people used to do it. So you would know a month in advance what we were going to do the following time. Okay. So I had to think about that. And I thought, well, I tell you what we're going to do. There's a compromise here. Okay. We'll do a monthly craft along, but I'm going to take my foot off the SHAC pedal and not meet up every Thursday night, because there is a lot involved, you know. And I'd like to actually, you know, often I want to go and see my mum, and then I think, oh, I can't because I've got the SHAC. And so SHAC is on a Monday at 10 o'clock, like now, okay? And that's it, every week, once a week, we get together at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning. And then on Thursdays, this is all just to do with the SHAC, us, teamies. On the Thursday, we're going to can Thursday evening, except for special occasions when we do craft alongs or workshops or things like that. How's that sound? I love a good craft along, and I'm really happy to do that. Okay. I'm going to wrap it around those canvases because it gives me something to hang my hat on. You see, I need something to, I need something, it's like a storage box. I need something to hang my hat on. Same as, even if I don't write anything, I've got my diary. I know what I can catch up later. So the first craft along of the month, date for your diary, that I did write down. I just didn't have time to write it into my book. 16th of October. Okay, so put that one in your diary. 16th of October, first craft along, 7 p.m. in the evening. And before we get to that, before we actually get to the craft along, I'll tell you well in advance, because we've still got another 5 weeks yet. So it gives me a week to work out what we're doing. Okay. So what I want you to do is get yourselves a diary and a journal. Do that, because that's going to be what we hang our hat on. That's going to be what you actually work into. Okay. So these are the diaries, the calendars, they're blank. This is new, right? This is new for us. I want to show you, just in case you weren't watching yesterday, we've got blank calendars, blank journal, blank calendar for parchers. Exactly the same, except the cover's different, and you've got parchment pieces in there. So you've got sheets of parchment to work into. Here in the journal, we've got pages of card, got 14 sheets of card cut to fit inside, and the same on the calendar. So the only difference with the calendar and the journal, well, is the calendar's got the dates in it. I'll show you. So this is my calendar. I've already started on mine. This isn't what we're going to use in the craft along, but it was really brilliant. And this is really where I started working out how we could use it as a team, because I thought, I'm like you, I've got some really lovely pieces that I've done, some really nice original bits of like prints. For me, it's all about printing, really. So I've done some really lovely gel plate prints, or I've done some lino cut prints, or mono prints on the intaglio down in the print room, and then they're so lovely, but you don't want to chop them up. You don't want to give them away. You just want to look at them. So what better place to look at them than a diary, okay, or a journal? Diary, especially a calendar, because the thing about the calendar is you've got to like what you're looking at for at least a month, So I thought that would be really cool. And so I can show you, for example, this is the piece of artwork that we did in the retreat when we were doing acrylic paint work, which will become an online course. Again, you see, this is time, redirecting my time. This one was another one. So this is an original. See? So I thought, well, that'd be nice for January. I'd like to look at that for a month. And then I've got other things. Like I did this print a long time ago, and I've always hung on to it. I must have had it 10, 12 years, and I just love it. It's also the texture that I love, right? So this is another one. It was one of those ones that you never be able to do again. I mean, monoprints are monoprints. You can never do the same thing twice. But this one, what was fascinating was this one and this one were in the same pass. It was just brilliant, right? And I was so excited when I did this, and I'll never know how I did it. Never wrote it down, did I? See? So this is really where I'm going. Then May, I thought, well, I've got a year to work this out. So that's all blank. September, then this was a lino. This was a lino cut that I did just for myself. Could be better, but I love it. I just like it. And I made a couple of prints with it. This was a leaf print that I did, a mono print using oil-based ink. Really nice. See, and then the rest are open again. So my thoughts on this were, as I was filling this, I thought, cool, this would be a really nice thing to do as a group, as a community. We could. And I'm thinking, because I'm very much a printmaker, mixed media, I'm definitely going down that route. I love my stamps though, and I design my stamps. So I thought, what I'd like to do when we get together for these monthly craft alongs, I'd like to mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to have 2 calendars going, or a journal and a calendar, right? A journal and a calendar. And one of them is going to be for stampy, inky work. Lots of techniques there to share. And the other one's going to be for printmaking, painty work, right? Free craft along. Nothing to do with the paid online courses, but I think that it'll be a really nice thing to do. And what you can do for me is buy these calendar and journal and work with me on these months. You see, so that way we're working in unison. And you could have the same as me. You could have one for painty experimentation and one for stampy inky safe. Makes sense, doesn't it? So there we are. And I'm sure that Paul will give you the, I don't want to lose my artwork. Paul will give you the codes for those calendars. And then Louise, she's going to be heading up a craft along for the departures. So that'll be lovely too. Yet to be decided when she does that. I'll have a conversation with her when I get back into work. You can see I'm working from home today. So, so that's the first thing I wanted to share with you, that the first craft along is on the 16th of October. That's a Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, and we'll be launching one of those. I haven't decided yet. I've got to work it. Let me get to it. But you just need the shells. You need the canvases, the blank canvases, which are the blank calendar and the blank journal. Those two. They're your entry tickets. There you go. So so that's that. And then the other thing was, so this afternoon and this morning, yesterday was a really busy 2 hours in the afternoon on Sunday with Paul and myself. I'm sure that many of you were watching, and it went really well. But it knocked me for 6 because I'm not used to this anymore, you know. So what we're going to do is today I thought I hadn't done my prep, as you can see, for the road trip artwork. I need a little bit more time, and I want to enjoy it, friends. You know, I want to enjoy it. It shouldn't be a chore for me. And so so give me a few days just to get my head together, and then next Monday I'll be back on track, and we'll be able to get back in the SHAC saddle on the road trip. And I've got those beautiful, those Hopi dolls. They're so beautiful. Anyway, I think so. So we're going to go to New Mexico. We're traveling through Arizona. Then we're going to get to New Mexico. It'll be a real pleasure to take you there, you know, on our SHAC travels. I was looking at our SHAC folders today because I've completely lost. You know, I like folders. I like storing. I like the chronology of our SHAC doodles. You know what I mean? And I noticed that I had the turtle I found in a pile of paper over there, and I thought, oh no, not my lovely turtle. I love him, you know, respect the ocean, and there he is in a pile of papers. And I thought, well, if I don't file him away safely, I'm going to lose him. So same as I know, I found this lovely piece of artwork, right? And I nearly started scribbling this on the back of it because it was face down on the table here. My life has become unmanageable, people. I suppose that's what happens when you get poorly. You lose the plot a bit, don't you? Be all right. Be fine. It'll be fine. Just got to go with it. Go with the flow. What would water do? So I don't even know what I was telling you about, but I do know that I've got to get my ducks in a row, and I need to start filing our doodles and our SHAC stuff a little bit better, you know. I bet you've got it all under control, haven't you? Had so much trouble finding you on Clarity Worldwide. No, I wonder why. I wonder why that is, Anne. Well, funny enough, I had a conversation with Paul this morning about making us more transparent, easier to find. So I'm glad you said that, because I agree with you. I think we need to be more transparent and easier to find. There you go. So this morning I was thinking, because we're on at 10 o'clock now, and then I'm on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So yesterday, there were loads of demos that I didn't get to. I ran out of steam and we ran out of time. So I thought, really, there was so much loveliness, because we're celebrating our birthday, aren't we? There was so much loveliness. I thought, we didn't get to see the artwork, and I didn't get to do any demos regarding some of the artwork. There were some really cool little tricks. So I thought, I'm going to use this hour and the 2 o'clock hour to kind of bolt on to yesterday, if that's okay with you. All right. And Ken, good morning. Thank God for Ken. He sent me a beautiful gift of a Cornish tea. So it was pasties on Saturday night and it was scones last night. Thank you, Ken. That was a big help. I'm watching I think it's me, Barb, not too au fait with technology. Oh, Anne, you're brilliant at technology. Give yourself a break. So I was thinking yesterday, the two main things, well, three, it was the calendars and the journals. That was one of the new things with a view to these craft alongs. And the other thing, there were two new sets. One was the Clarity Street, the stamp set, which I thought they were lovely, didn't you? Let's have a look. So I've got all this artwork. We weren't able to even look at it properly because we ran out of time, you know. So I thought, hats off to the design team. It's our birthday. They make us look so good. And they show you what can be done with the stamps. Yeah. So I was thinking, we'll have a little look at what we were looking at yesterday, what was on offer. This is the launch of our 32nd birthday, friends. So it had to be something special. 32 years. That's nearly half my life I've been doing this now. Can't believe that. So I drew these, and you may recall, I'm sure you do, that we drew. Let me show you these ones, because they're the ones that will jog your memory. Now, see, this is where I was going to, because I was looking. I've got to show you. I'm sure this is where I put it as well. Where did I put it? There you go. See, so I found my turtle. That was what we did last time. San Francisco. And then I had a great idea. So I thought we could do this, because I'm jumping about a bit here. But we did San Francisco, and I was thinking, cool, hang on a minute. So if we took these fellas, look, we could see what I mean. Sign writers. They're sign writers. They're wallpaper. They're sign writers. They're all those things. See? So you could do a really brilliant poster, and then you could put them on the ladders, and we'll get to it. But I was thinking, there's method in my madness here. So that'll be cool. But this is what I was looking for, because I couldn't find these either. And I thought, I've lost the turtle. I've lost these houses. My life has become unmanageable. And then I found them. Don't ask me where I found this. It was ridiculous. But I did. And that made me happier. Because these houses were what sparked, first of all, they were what sparked these houses, which I did in secret as a birthday treat. But they also sparked the triangle people, which I showed you yesterday as well, because we've got them in a larger size now. Do you remember? The Digi download, that was the download of the... and I showed you with the A4 set. Oh, look. It's my little triangle people box. So they're all in the same place. And what I did was, so we got the small set, right, which is what we call A6. So these little fellas are about 1 inch tall. And then these ones are about 1.5 inches. And then we got the big ones. We launched these with the masks. And these are the ones that we used at the retreat. And I cut the A4, I cut the large set in half. You can see here, these are like 2.5. These are bigger, much bigger, but really fun to use. And then I chopped them up and put them in my little slow down box, see? So that's my triangle box. We'll get to that maybe this afternoon or later. But the point was that there is a flow here, right? There is a flow. And I was really happy to find my houses. And more will be revealed. I think I see a SHAC Street coming. SHAC Street for Christmas. SHAC Street for Christmas. And then we could mix it up a bit. So then you've got SHAC Street for Christmas. Then you've got Clarity Street for birthday. But the good news is that Barbie has got her act together and she's put it all back in the order that it was made, I think. I mean, we did go off piece at the end of the alphabet, didn't we? But that's okay. That's okay. We're doing it. We're doing it. So these were these houses, and now you know the provenance, you know where it comes from, because you doodled the other ones with me, okay? So these sets, what we did was we decided to keep it simple. So we made 2 sets. And one set was with the pretty much finished houses with a few kind of open spaces with a little bit, so you could put windows in if you wanted to add another floor, okay, or a bit of bunting. So you got a bit of blank, it's not chock-a block. And then this one's got the 5 houses and the trees, yeah, so you can see that here. Real nice this was. And then they come as a pair, really. Then this one is the one where you've got the open house with the roofs, and then you've got the divider. If you want to split the floors, you can make this as long or as wide as you like. You can change the roof, you can put the windows in. You literally are the architect of your own home. You've got street signs, you've got number plaque, you can put the house number on the, you can put bricks, you can change, you've got a little bench, you've got a balcony if you want to add a balcony. It's all here. Plant pots, and then you've got your animals and your birds and your chimneys and your stacks as well. So they work really brilliantly together, you know. And then we also, so we got those 2 sets. Then there was a 3rd set, messages, lovely, happy birthday, happy new, congrats, with love. Mi casa is tu casa, just for you, time to celebrate, thank you, can't wait to see you. So these are great, and we deliberately made them into little boxes because they're so nice to use. And when they're in a box, they're easy to cut out, they're easy to put on top of, you know, to add like a sticker, except you can see through them. Perfect. And then, of course, we did our Clarity toppers and tags, which was the postcards, really smashing. And you can see here, there are loads of them. There are 16 toppers and 16 tags, always 2 of each, different layouts. And it all kind of stems back to the original, but then we open it up, or we go landscape, or we only put 3, so you've got a gap. I think I'll do a demo with them this afternoon. It was a really cool demo using the new inch brayers. I think I'll do that this afternoon. So if you fancy seeing those new brayers in action with the postcards, I'll do that this afternoon, okay? So let's look at some artwork. I would like to show off some artwork from our lovely art team. They're so much more than a design team. You know, they're real artists, and they work so hard to make us look good and to bring our designs to life. If you like, we're the design team and they're the art team, you know. So let's have a look. And you can see here, just by the size of my hands, this is a mini make, absolutely gorgeous. And it's one of those little tiny tags, toppers and tags. Remember from the landscapes? It's so pretty. Sheila Metzeler, and she's used the leaves on it, the trees, the bench, that's it, and a bird. Isn't that lovely? I'll hold it up close so you can see it. What a nice little card. and then one of our rub-ons. Rub-offs? Rub-on? I don't know. It's a rub-on transfer. If you didn't buy any of these things yesterday, there's another one. See, love this. I bet this is Deborah Wheeler. Yes. See, because you might think, well, why do I just want a door without a house? That's why you want a door without the house. And because they come with masks, that's something I forgot to mention. Because they come with masks, every single one of them comes with a mask. It's so easy to stamp the door, mask it up, masking as in covering it up, and then stamp the little grasses into place. See, so that's why you need both of them. So both sets come with masks. Excellent. Also included in the price. And then, of course, he's used the embedders to give it that classy edge. Yeah, if you didn't buy these things yesterday and you're sitting on the fence, so to speak, sitting on the bench, double points on all orders till midnight tonight. Remember, we spoke about that yesterday. Double points. Points count, you know, but you do need to redeem them. They do slide off the end at the end of the year, so you do need to redeem them, friends. So make sure you use them. But they do add up. I love my boots points. Me, I'm a boots girl. I don't know about you, but I do like using my boots points. And there's nothing like having 30 or 40 quid's worth of points, and then the whole shop is free. You know, I don't know how popular I am with boots when I do that, but that's the whole point of loyalty points. You get points as a thank you for your loyalty. Right. And it works exactly the same at our place. So I'm just showing you a couple of different ones here. These are little makes. Look, this is a nice one. So rooftop, Sheila Metzeler with our little girls. Now maybe you didn't think of using them in conjunction. Yeah, just the house tops. That's rather nice. Here's another really lovely one from Tina Morris, a mini make. See, tiny little door with the brickwork and the two little flower pots. So I like these little cards. And Andy Duggan, make a little card dog in front. Half a house. Doesn't have to be a long house. Debbie McMullin, love what she's done. She's just used the bench, the dog and the trees. So my point is, if you're wondering why we split all these up into loads of little elements, it's for this. It's not just to decorate your main piece. It's for this. So we've got loads of little Tina Morris, another little bench with a dog. This is a lovely one from Julie Dunn. Dogs and cats. Nice, hey? Just put these here. I like this one too. I think this is a Sheila Metzeler, yeah. So it's a really nice card. It's one of those, I think they're called easel cards. Nice. And it's just using our buff paper and then colouring in with a little bit of white Posca pen. There's another one, Sheila Metzeler, and she used just around the edge there. This is quite interesting. Where's that funky edge come from? Windows only used as a border on all sides. So it's the windows from a set that have been used all the way around the outside. Cool. This is a good one from Linda Spencer. She's used the borders, you see, within a house frame. Nice. Windows again. Because I know that there were some questions about what am I going to do with the windows? Well, you can do loads. Now we get to the full picture things. These are nice. Love that one. Sheila Metzeler again. It's a stepper card. There you go. It's a stepper card. Of course it is. So this is lovely with a sticker there. Look, Clarity Street. And what I was going to say as well, this is another thing worth bearing in mind. These make floors. So you could take one of those and you could pop it there. Do you see what I mean? You could use this inside the house. They fit. And they've got their masks. So that's cool too. So this is a nice one from Tina Morris. It's a Halloween, look, black cat. I love that. And I love this one from Sonia. And she's used a paper. I think this is one of Sam Crow's papers. And then she's cut these out. So these are cut out and mounted with a bit of glitter. See the glitter? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, really nice. Bit of glitter around, a little bit of glitter on the steps and in the windows. See if I can bring that up close so you can see it better. See the glitter? Isn't that lovely? Yeah, you can see it there. It's like snow. Nice Christmas card. Here's another Christmas card. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Isn't that nice? So white embossed. See, we weren't able to really look at these yesterday. This is another gorgeous one. D. Paramore, decoupage. I saw a row of houses. Let me see. I saw it in Austria and I took a photograph. Let me see if I can find it. So I took a photograph and it was a house in Austria. A row of houses in Austria. Check that out. That's real. Look, I found it online and I thought, cool. Isn't that brilliant? Look, that's a real set of houses in, I think it might be in Vienna. It's crazy, isn't it? So colourways, gorgeous. And we're there, look, we're halfway there. Oh, no, I wonder where that is. I have to look it up again. But so there we are. This is a really nice one from Debbie McMullin. I hope that you're happy to look at the artwork with me. I like this one too. Happy New Home, bit of stencil work in the back. And then this one is neat. This is from Dee again. So she's used our townhouse die cut, which is one of my favourite designs. And then she's put a couple of houses to frame. And she's used the path. See, in that set, when we did this set, Jazz and I, we put these bricks along here. And I was thinking of them as a kind of a path. But they also make a really brilliant brick wall. So if you lose all that, take that out of this here, look, it's a brick wall. So you could put a brick wall across the back. So you mask these off and then put the brick wall either side. Excellent. Excellent. This is a cool one. Linda Spencer. Yeah, trippy. So you're lying in the middle of the roundabout in London. And before you get arrested, you see this. You need arresting if you see that. Andy Duggan, this is a nice one as well. Just simple, using one of our posters. This is a postcard. Nice. And here's another one from Sheila Metzeler. She definitely liked these house stamps, didn't she? So Sheila spent time in Holland. I remember she lived in the States, in the Netherlands. So she will, yeah, this is another Sheila Metzeler. These houses are to me, they're quite Dutch as well. Although I could see them in London too. This is a good one, Neighbour. This is, I bet this is Sonia Goodliff. Sonia Goodliff. There we are. Penguin letterbox alphabet. Penguin letterbox. See, I was wondering where that came from because I do like that. I do like that font. So it's the Penguin letterbox. All right. Nice to know. Tina Morris. This is all cut out, layered. And I bet this is using our infusion papers. I was going to say Darjeeling. Darjeeling and chamomile. There we are. That's rather lovely, isn't it? Isn't that lovely? Very nice. And here's one from Deb McMullin. So she's made a house that way and turned it into a cottage. Clever. Very clever. This is a lovely one. Linda Spencer. Beautiful tall houses and then straight up to the Eiffel Tower. These little people. I love these little people, even if I say so myself. So we're using the bunting and the little poodle. And they're from the Eiffel Tower set. And where do I know where my Eiffel Tower set is? I know where it is because I reckon it has to be in my go-to box because it's one of my go-to sets. And I didn't rig this. Hey, there it is. I'm so happy. And there they are, the three little fellas. And it's the tiniest one. That's what I was checking. So you got three sizes, see? Got the little one, real dinky, which is about 1/2 inch from top to bottom. Then you've got the next size up, which I'd say is about 1 inch. Isn't it? Yeah. Be a bit big. So bit big, unless you brought them to the front. You see, you could do this if you took that size and you brought them in front of the building, then it would make more sense. Do you get it? So that's the whole purpose of these, is that then the largest one, so you'd have to bring them right to the front. So I don't know, let's see if there is a, that's a lovely one. Is that a Jane Telford? Yeah, you see. Yeah, so you could, if you wanted to, put these, but they'd have to come to the front, you see. So they don't have to be used with Big Ben or the Eiffel Tower. But I just wanted to show you where they come from. And then, of course, why wouldn't I? They're everywhere. I've got them everywhere, look. I always use these. These are my absolute go-to, this little drop. It's like a, what's it called? A backdrop stamp, isn't it? There you go, my go-to box. I actually need a bigger go-to box. It's starting to get a little bit busy in there. I may have to have go-to box 1, and then go-to box 2. And then, of course, it starts to lose its potency, because then I'll have, next thing you know, I'll have my go-to box 10. And then I'll need a filing system for my go-to boxes. These are lovely, aren't they? This is a gorgeous one from Tina Morris. Thinking of you, Tina. How nice is that? So she's wrapped it around a card. Isn't that gorgeous? And she's changed the roofs a little bit too. She's already one step ahead of me in the SHAC street. Nice one again by Sheila. This is a cool one. Linda Spencer, all wrapped with the cats at either end. Very nice indeed, these are, aren't they? And I like this one as well. So that's that striped stencil that we've got. Looks great because the stripes are going in this sort of juxtaposition. Jane Telford. Very nice indeed. Yep. They're good to use, these are, you know. It's so much fun. I need a go-to box shelf, Paul says. So you can see here, this is Jane's again, using the blank house as a border. Doesn't that look great? I like this a lot. And these are lovely too. So this is Sarah Brennan, and she's made a panel, but what a lovely set of notelets they will make. Aren't they nice? This is our happy place, Sheila Metzeler, and she's used one of our post-its, one of our postcards with the gilding. What's the hot foiling? That's really clever. With the triangle people as well. Very nice. This one really is a story, isn't it? This is our happy place. And there's a lovely couple. There's the dog. Nice. Andy Duggan, make good memories. You see, he's used it as a brick wall again. Oh, and this is a perfect example. Dee Paramore. See, brick wall. Now, there was me thinking it was a path, but it actually looks really cool as a brick wall, doesn't it? Oh, look. Sarah Brennan. They all had the brick wall idea except me. I love the clouds in the background, Sarah. Isn't that gorgeous? Andy Duggan, gold on black. Love it. And then we've got another one from Sarah. This is nice. Rainbows. So she's used the large houses and then done a real funky, colourful one. Then we've got Sonia Goodliff. Nice. New home. Die cut. Love that. Yeah, so now you've got rows. You see, you've got layers. That's another thing that really, that's actually a really good idea. So you could do like houses, like Coronation Street, all the roofs, couldn't you? Nice. Last but not least, Sheila Metzeler again. And then die cut, borders, and a brick wall. So really fabulous artwork there from our art team. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all the effort that you put into this gorgeous artwork. And then, of course, I'm just thinking what I ought to do. Let me see, braids, topper. So I've got these. So the artwork I did yesterday, just in case you're interested and you didn't see, I did this particular card. So there is a digi download for this one. You can see it, it's there, and it tells you exactly. If you missed the demonstration, then go back to the 3 o'clock show and you'll see I showed you exactly how to use one of these pieces of card, stamp into place, how to drop one of the houses behind another one, how to make a little alleyway. See what I mean about bringing the triangle people forward if they're a bit larger? There you go. Yeah. And then I showed you how to use distress oxides to colour in. And then, of course, if you want to intensify, and I kind of ran out of time and speed on this one, but if you want to get the depth on there, your grey pencil, see if you just take your polychromo, you come through there like so. You'll watch now. Right, I'll show you. If I come in a bit closer on this, you'll see. This is dry now. But if you come in like that, and you just kiss that edge there, like so, down that side, you can see what's lovely is that the distress oxides, they got a really lovely feel to them. And they're kind of chalky. See, so I can go in there and they've got a bit of purchase. That's what I mean. That's what I'm telling you. So what it means is when you go to, with this particular house that I put some shadow on with the distress oxides. When you run over the top of the distress oxides with a polychromo, which is like an oil-based pencil, if you like. I'm just taking one from those greys that we have, right? You know, the box of greys and beiges, the pack of 12. See, so you can start to add, and you get the shadow. So I've taken a medium one, cold grey 3, right? But if I take, for example, what's that one? Payne's grey. This one's in the pack of 12 as well. Now, so that one, let me just show you. This one's kind of more blunt, if you like, softer. This one's sharper. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to kind of kiss that edge, and I'm keeping right close to the edge. And you'll see, if I just go to there, see the difference between that bit, how much, I'm sure you could see this quite well. You can see how you can add shadow. See, too dark. You want to go lighter first. There you go. And I'm just kissing this edge like that. See, and then you just feather out a little bit. And you'll see you can get a really good, like a sharp line there. And you can get some lovely depth by doing this. See, it doesn't take much to create a real interest. And then whether you add colour, see, I enjoyed adding a flash of colour to the houses. It really came out well. And I was using, you can see here how I've used the grey and then the blue. And I was literally using distress oxides to do this job. So if you watch back from yesterday, I was just diluting these a little bit. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody was not watching, but it's so easy to do, just to pick one of these colors, you know, and where this was white down the middle here, I just took antique linen and used a water brush with it. So I've dumped it all in here, everything that I used. See, I've got my water brushes. And then I just took a mix mat and a little bit of this. You can take any colour. I'm sure I've got I know I had the mix mat. Hey, where's my mix mat? There's one. I've always got one somewhere. There you go. Forgive me for winging it a bit here, folks. But that's all right. That's my middle name nowadays. See? So you take a little bit of that, just a tiny little amount. You don't need much. And then you can dilute it. So I just squish a little bit of water out next to it there, right? And then you just dilute this. And then let's say I want to add a little bit of that colour. See, once you've done the white, it's not so easy. But over here, I haven't done any white yet. But if I wanted to add, let's say to this door, I want to add a little bit more colour. So that's a bit boring. Well, let's use the mix mat as a blending mat. You know, we never think about blending these, do we? Except when we're using them on a, let's say on a, I think weathered wood would be a good colour. Let's see what's a sort of a, no, let's go with the blue. Except when we're using them on those backdrop stamps. So this is Stormy Sky. I'm going to show you how to use these on a backdrop stamp at 2 o'clock as well. Right, there you go. See, so you mix up the colours. So now it's not cream. See how I'm bringing it into it, almost like a duck egg blue. I want my door to be duck egg blue. So I'm mixing these two, and then I'm just going to, the excess, I'll just wipe it onto a paper towel, because I can always add it, but I can't take it away. So if I want to just bring that in there like so, let's make sure it's not too wet. And then I'm going to make my door duck egg blue. Wunderbar. There you go. Who says? So my door's duck egg blue. I'm going to put a little bit depth in there. Nice colour. There you go. And so you're using both colours. Looks good, doesn't it? And I might even, let me take a little bit of that. I'll just dilute it a little bit. This colour here. Let's take a bit of the water over here that way. Right, and I think I'll add a little bit in the roof. See? So I can add a bit in the roof. There you go. Around the window. And if I think it's a little bit too dark, thing about this is I can move it around a bit because there's an undercoat. There we are. So we can add a little bit more like that. And maybe add a little bit of blue in that. I'm going to put a bit of that duck egg blue in the window, because in a minute what I want to do is add a bit of duck egg blue in there, because then when it's dry, and it, you know, I said this yesterday, it has to be dry really. Cool, that's a bit dark now, Barbara, isn't it? So the lights are off now. Okay, so he's drawn the curtains. But I bet I could lift that out a little bit as well. Let's have a look. If I do this, I'll show you a trick this afternoon with pulling colour out as well. I wonder if I just, right, now, blot, lighter, much better grey. Yeah, that'll do. And then, see, so you can add a little bit of colour. Let's put some in this window as well. So it's enjoyable. And what I'm doing is I'm working off the actual alcohol pre-printed things. You know, these pre-printed cards that we've got. They're so good to use. And what you'll find is they just give you the right amount of background without too much noise. And what I mean by that is when you've got a design like these houses that are quite detailed and quite delicate really in a way, right? If the noise in the background, if there's too much chatter and it's not smooth like these, then they lose their detail because the background's too busy, you understand? Therefore, These are brilliant for that because they just give you the right amount of kind of grunge without detracting from the stamp design, from the illustration, which is what you want really. And I'm just adding a little bit of colour to the windows so that it's dry before I can add the white with the Posca pen. Now let's have a look at this door. I want to try something. If I go with, I'm coming in with this antique linen, this distress oxide. Now let's see if I can add, yeah, I can. Right, let's go in here and let's see if I can add colour to the door. See, and then if it's concentrated more, right? I mean, we don't usually use distress oxides to paint, do we? But I think they look really nice. I really like this. And I know that if I let that layer dry, when I go, it will dry lighter. It definitely will dry lighter than that. But it will give itself to another layer. So I can put another layer down and the door will get lighter and lighter. What I'm going for is an antique linen door, but I need to just tone it down a little bit. So you can see how you can build up your colours. Now with the leaves, for example, they're quite detailed, aren't they? So you could use, what colour do we want? I'm going to go with the tiniest bit of yellow. And if I put a tiny bit of yellow in with that blue, I wonder what we get. Yeah, a beautiful zesty green. Nice, eh? So you see, we're using these colours now, I love. And I'm bringing out the green over here, you see? And I used the yellow mustard seed, which most of us have got. And then I mixed in a tiny bit of the weathered wood. And it gives you, of course, blue, yellow, get a fantastic green. And then I can just add a little bit of green in there. And you know what? I feel so much better than I did an hour ago. I felt really rough and now I feel really fine. And it's, again, it's relaxing, it's doing artwork, it's distraction, you know, it's not letting my head run away with me. I'm not worrying about the business, not worrying about bills, not worrying about my health. In fact, I'm just fine now. There you go. And I'm just using that little bit of yellow. See, I keep bringing in a bit of the green. In we go. Tease that yellow into a lovely zesty green. So I don't need to buy a zesty green. I can make a zesty green. Do you get it? There we are. And the thing about these watercolour pens, and we do sell them, they are really top quality for the price as well. You know, you could pay a lot of money for good pens like this, but for some reason we seem to have sourced a really good quality at a really good price. So the thing is that they don't spit water out, you know, they're very, unless I squeeze, it just stays damp, which is perfect for just moving it around. Do I want a green door anywhere? No, but I might put a little bit of green along here. There you go. Look, see, just a little echo of green on that wall. Nice, eh? Yes, love. And then, of course, her dress. And then I think we'll wait until this afternoon. I think I'm going to make her dress yellow. There you go. Nice. Just a bit of yellow. There. Easy. So for the first time, we're taking distress oxides and we're using them diluted. I mean, we've used them, don't get me wrong, we've used them diluted the whole time. Remember, we use them on the stamp, on the backdrop stamps, then we spritz them, don't we? We do it all the time. So that we know that they take water, But what we haven't done is taken them to a mix mat and actually used them as a paint, like a paint. So I really like the way they dry and the way they work. Really lovely, you know. So there you go. That's just adding a little bit more to this, to the demo that we cut short yesterday using these. They're good. I think we've got all 6 of them still in stock, haven't we, Paul? And let me just pan out a little bit, and then we can see. So that was where I ended up, and that's where I'm going. And there's a digi download which tells you exactly what all of the ingredients if you need them. There you go. And then this afternoon, what I'd like to do, I'm going to take a postcard. I'll show you. I'm going to go to this demo and show you how to use a postcard to, let's see what we've got here. We'll do this one. I think this will be a really cool one to do. So this one was just coloured in with polychromos. That was a background that I really liked. And then I thought I'll put that on there like that. I really like bringing out the orange in that. So I'm going to show you how to use. Now this time, colouring this in, we're going to use normal ink pads. We're going to use these ink pads. So join me this afternoon, and we'll have another play with the distress oxides. So we'll use the stamps, we'll use the builder, we'll get with the painter out, we'll build the houses, we'll do the postcards, and we'll compare the 2 different ink pads. Maybe it'll be nice to see what happens with one versus what happens with the other one. Okay? So thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed our session. I apologise for not going on the road trip, but to be honest, I had to leave the bus in the depot this morning. I wouldn't have been safe behind the wheel, friends. So I'll see you at 2 o'clock, and we'll get the postcards out, and we'll get the little painter out, and we'll put them through their paces, okay, and have a look at some lovely artwork from the art team. So Paul, thank you for your help. I'll see you at 2, friends.